Hey there, internet drifters. We're back with another episode of RimWorld mods, and these mods are... I have no idea where I'm going with that. Let's try it again. Hey there, internet drifters, and we're back again with RimWorld mods. Last episode, we went over some of the character amending mods, two of which, you know, they're both equally good. I'm sure there's other ones out there. I don't know about them, but I'm sure there are other ones out there. There are literally thousands of mods. There is no way I've seen all of them. But my favorite was the Prepare Carefully. And if you wanted to see what those mods were, I'll leave a link somewhere, either in the description or one of those nifty little buttons that pops up at the top. This video is going to be more surrounding the world creation, but I did mention in that previous video that I had some hair mods, so we're going to test those out a little bit too. And I'm going to just start a new colony, even though I'm not... Here it is again. Even though I'm not actually starting a new colony, you have to go through this to do anything. So we'll just crash landed, peaceful, whatever, it doesn't matter. Mosquito! Sure. I always put the globe coverage to 50% because my computer can totally handle generating 50%. 100 is kind of a bit much, but for most applications, 50 is totally fine. And I know that it starts out with the 30, which is probably what most people do. I find that 50 gives me a much greater coverage of the actual planet, usually giving me a sort of Pangea-ish sort of continent to work with. Anyway, we went through the faction control thing, and that was all cool. I'm going to leave that stuff as is for right now, because we're not really worried about that in this video. So let's generate, and... Oh, I'm sorry. We can't do the... we can't do the character things yet because world building comes before characters. I did backwards, apparently. I did it backwards. But that's okay. So I have advanced biomes and alpha biomes, if you noticed from the loading screen. And immediately you might see a few differences. Not as many differences as there actually are, because some of them are a little cheeky. So we have right in here, this is an ocular forest. That is part of alpha biomes. There is poison forest, which is part of advanced biomes. And the reason why I'm doing them together is because I like to have a lot of different choices. I just like choices. I like choices. It's nice. It's, you know, you look at a planet like this and it's like, wow, this planet has a lot of character. There's so many different kinds of areas, you know? Okay, so this is one that's hard to see from way out here. Forsaken Crags. And then there's Pyroclastic Conflagration. And see, you see this area? It's actually volcano. It looks just like ocular forest. Like, you can have them right next to each other and not know that they're different. Ocular forest is from alpha biomes. Volcano is from advanced biomes. We'll start up here in the ocular forest. We'll start here. I'm going to cheaty McCheat pants the hell out of this because I want to show you the different areas. This is not a proper game, so cheating should be totally acceptable because I'm not cheating at the game. I'm cheating to move people around to show you these maps. Anyway, let's continue. Now here's the Prepare Carefully. Here's a few, you know, like overviews. Right now, I want to see, and we can already see there's beard. Which I don't know where the beard stuff is at on here. It doesn't seem to be part of that. I don't see Well, let's go to girl because that's who we were looking at before. Well, I think that's a different one. It's the vanilla hair expanded mod pack, and you can also get vanilla hair expanded beards, which, you know, beards that showed up, but there's nowhere to really change that. That's okay. That's okay, because in the actual, well, we'll show you. I'll show you in a minute. I just want to go through this first. That looks different. Brave. That, I don't think that was part of the vanilla. Yeah, cute, I don't think was. Double Hawk. Yeah, so I think there's definitely the different ones going on here. Don't know which ones are vanilla and which ones aren't, but I think that's part of the... Okay, that definitely was not in vanilla. That definitely was not in vanilla. Okay. So yeah. There's some interesting hair choices that you can do, and it seems to put it into the Prepare Carefully mod. Let's see. Hair. It seems to do it in the other one too. So I guess that's, you know, that's a thing. But we don't really care about the... I just wanted to show you the hair thing because I had said something in the last video about it. So, moving on. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what our characters do. They're just gonna land here, and we're not gonna worry too much about them. It's whatever. They got some good stuff. Burst. Woohoo! Okay, so we're gonna put God mode on just because it's not a real game, okay? I'm going to delete this. I'm not even going to save it. It's going to be gone after this video. It's just going to disappear. So, one of the things you can get... Where is it? Is it in miscellaneous? Also, I've never used this. I don't know what actually put this in my game, but it sounds really cool. I don't know what it does, though. There it is, Barber's table. So, got this Barber's table. How does it work? There we go. We can change their hairstyle. Bring him over to that, and boom. So now we can put whatever hair on them we want. Give you the willow. And give them a beard. He looks so funny. Sure, let's do it. And then it takes him some time to do whatever he does. And then poof, he goes from looking like that to looking like that. Awesome. Totally worth it. So, okay. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, this is the Ocular Forest. I'm sure you were a bit distracted by that. I wasn't. I've been here before. So these trees have eyes on them, and they're scary looking. There are alien plants. You can see in the lower left corner there, it says alien plant. There are these tentacular aberration, and all the mountains are rose quartz, which is really cool, except when, you know, it seems really cool until you realize that it's just basically a stone and it has no other real value. But it's a cool different color. I like it. So these globular aberrations and I can't say the word tentacular aberration. They are sort of food things. Oh no, this one gives wood, just red wood. But this is a fruit sort of thing, and the trees give redwood too, which you would think would be, you know, oh, it's just a different kind of wood. No, there's a lot of things you cannot build with redwood. Alpha Biomes has its own little thing here. You might have noticed earlier, where you can use the stones that they added in for normal purposes, or the wood and other stuff that they added in. You can use that for other purposes. But if something like here, you're building a drug lab, it will tell you if it will allow you to use redwood. A brewery will not. You have to have wood. Redwood, not good enough. I guess it is not an edible sort of wood. I suppose maybe the redwood is poisonous. And see, so you got to be careful because you can't always use the redwood for everything. So you will have to plant regular trees some places. And there are actually, if I look long enough, oh, I forgot about these. Blood bouquet. It's another fruity thing, but it really isn't, it's not the same. They don't drop very much. So you immediately have to go into trying to grow stuff. And as you can see, there's not really a lot of great land. There's a little, is this rich? Yeah, there's a little bit of richness here. But it's not super rich. It's mostly blah. Blah or nothing. But every once in a while, if you look real close, you'll see, there we go, a half-transformed alien tree, which you can barely see because it's not properly above the stones. Let's see if I can find, there's another one. You can see the top there. It's starting to transform. There's a few eyeballs off of it. Here's a better example. But it's still got, you know, its woodiness. It hasn't completely transformed. So that is that realm. And before I get too far into alpha biomes, let me assure you, yes, this does come, and like it's supposed to be kind of part of a set. Alpha biomes was meant to go with alpha animals. And I tried to do alpha animals. I really did. I really gave it a fair shot. And it is insane. It is not anywhere near a vanilla kind of experience. It's not vanilla comparable at all. Once you add in the animals, it becomes a whole other game. For instance, in this map, there are these two different kinds of creatures. I'm sure there's way more than two. I just remember the two. That, or maybe it's just one, that goes along the map and leaves this like red cloud and destroys your crops. Just destroys them. So you could have been waiting, you know, for some things, upwards of 60 days, right? For the fruition of like, fruit trees, I think, are 60 days, and there's other things. And you'd be on day like 55. I think I was on like day 48 or something. And they just came around and just slaughtered my whole fucking forest of fruit trees. And I was like, are you serious? I didn't even know that's what it did. I had no idea that that was what was going to happen. I didn't know. And that was the consequence, that I was now completely out of these fruit trees. It didn't drop what fruit was on it. It just completely eradicated them to where they no longer even existed anywhere. And that, while it is a fun experience in its own right, was not what I was looking for at the time. So I don't usually play with, oh, there's a fox. Hey, Foxy. I do not usually play these with alpha animals, but you can. There's just a lot of overpowered animals, quote unquote animals. They're like, and there's another one that's like some shadow. No, it's like some dragon thing that just poops everywhere. And its poop like is edible or something. I don't know. And that just like bogged down my computer with all of these little piles of shit just all over the place. Little bits of rot everywhere. And then there's another animal, and this was the reason why I had this one animal in Alpha Biome, or Alpha Animals. This is the one reason why I had to uninstall it. I had to just say no. There's one alpha animal that disguises itself as a human, and it joins your team. And if it's not satisfied, and I don't know what that even really means, it's really just supposed to want to continue living with you so long as it has food. But if for any reason it feels like it's not going to work out, it turns into the monster that it really is and tries to kill everyone. And if you are in very early game and somebody, you get a colonist that just randomly joins your colony, and then you are struggling to have food, but everybody keeps being fed, but for whatever reason, in a moment, and yes, this happened, that monster decides, you know what, there's not enough food for me to justify continuing this lie. That's horrific. Okay? I was doing the best I could, and we would have gotten through it if the alien monster thing would have just chillaxed a little bit and waited it out. Instead, it decimated my whole colony, which wasn't all that big, but I had put a lot of effort into trying to make it work. It wasn't in this biome. I don't remember which biome it was in, but we'll go through, maybe I'll remember along the way. Temperate Forest. I think Wetland is vanilla, so we're going to skip that. Okay, this one is the Ocular Forest. No, we came from the Ocular Forest. What is this one? Myopic Jungle. Okay, this is another Alpha Biomes one. And, oh, that's cool. They brought those. I didn't tell them to. And this one's really cool. But with the animals, again, it just became ridiculous. Oh, I thought that was part of the animals thing. Well, I suppose Alpha Animals didn't bring that. So these big ass mushroomy things that it's only 5% grown, but it doesn't actually get any bigger. They will, when it's not raining, there we go. Okay, you see these little wispies of purple? That is now a poisonous area. And do you know how stupid your colonists are? That they will just go right through that. They'll stand in there. If they're bored, or especially if they're having a mental break, they'll just go right into this, sit there, and die. It's pretty quick. It happens very quickly. It's a poison cloud or something like that, and they will just sit in there and die. Or they'll try to walk through it, back and forth, get toxic shock, poisoning, whatever, and then die. So you have to build walls around them. Like, you could set them on fire. That would be great. Setting them on fire would be amazing if you could get close enough to them to set them on fire. And I'm pretty sure that's how it was intended, that you deal with those, is set them on fire. But again, starting a colony in this area, not easy to come across something that will set fire to anything. You have to really work to build up to that ability. So it gets really dangerous. And then there's other dangers when you factor in the other alpha animals that are, again, very OP. They're very unpleasantly powerful. And that can get real hard real fast. But without the animals, it's not, this is still probably one of the more dangerous ones because of Agrolux Prime. But there's all these different kinds of mushrooms that, some of them, this gives the mushroom stalk. Some of them give, this one does poison dart, which is a one-use weapon. and that's really cool. And then there's different colors of fungus which do different things. There's one that's like hallucinogenic, and your people will use it like drugs. Yeah, here, psychotropic fungus. Giving them a little bit of a happy bonus. It's a fun biome. It's just very dangerous. So be aware of that. There's so much more vanilla that it can seem a little boring by comparison to alpha biomes. It's a little bit like changing the color of your bed sheets. It's still the same bed, but, you know, has a little bit more flavor to it. So this is the Volcano Area, and you know, you look at it and it's like, okay, I could believe that that is very vanilla. So we have some super rich areas, which you would expect in a volcanic area because that's what volcanoes do. They make super rich areas, but they also make some super dead areas that are just blah. And they make some lava happen. Okay, so you got, you know, different kinds of rocks will happen. It's kind of like any other regular vanilla biome otherwise. Nothing much to see, you know, besides all of that. It has some cool flavor stuff like obsidian ground. You can see that over here. This is obsidian. That's obsidian. Sometimes there will be... no, I don't think that they actually do obsidian rock in this particular biome. However, they do in a different one, the alpha biome's equivalent. So the next one is the gelatinous superorganism. This one is probably my favorite out of all of them. But it is hard. It does have a lot of difficulty to it. Because it's difficult to find enough places to grow stuff. There are no rich soil areas. And there's actually, I mean, this is a good map. There's usually not a lot of regular growing areas either. It's a lot of it, you know, ends up being this hardened slime ground or slimy mud or shallow liquid slime or, you know, slime. I want to know, though, why the hardened slime ground has fertility levels. See, the rich hardened slime ground has a fertility of 40%. What does it need a fertility for? What can I possibly do with that? Why do I need to know it's 40% fertility? How does that help me? I tried to leave a question to that effect on the mod page. Nobody paid any attention to me. Everybody just ignored me and moved on. I don't know how many questions have been asked and answered since then because it was a few months ago, but I was never answered. If anybody knows the answer to this, I would love to understand why this has a fertility. You can't plant there. You can't do anything. You can't like I haven't put it on yet. There's another one that does like a tilling option. You can't like you can't put a zone there. You can put a zone there, but you can't put a zone in this. It doesn't make any sense. It really bothers my brain. But there it is. So this area I have not really explained very well. These little things of hardened slime, right? You can mine them and they go away because I'm in God mode. And here's the slime chunks, and here's where things get weird. If you get Stonecutter's table, and you go into here, you'll notice there is an option to turn hardened slime chunks into food. Do forever. It's fine. Now let's have... Nobody will do crafting? There we go. Blah. What's wrong with you? Oh. Ta-da! For you, that went really fast. For me, it was really slow. They will eat this, but they will be very unhappy about it. Eat it. And let's watch as it makes you very unhappy. 8 awful meal. But for the first little while you're waiting on crops, that's really all you can do. And first off, they only stack to 10. They have a very limited life. So stop throwing up. Get it done. See, spoils in 4 days. So it's just like any other meal. But when you are digging, like if you have a very mountainous colony and you're trying to like dig into the area, these just are everywhere. And what the fuck are you supposed to do with them except turn them into food? Which I guess is fine because you can turn them into food and then they'll eventually just disappear, biodegrading into the slimeness of everything. But that's really like you're putting somebody on the job of doing that as a sort of waste management. And that can be a little, difficulty stepper-upper. I have not played this with the alpha animals, so I don't really know what animals come along with this territory to know what to look out for. So if you do download both of them, just be aware alpha animals is not a vanilla kind of mod. It takes it to a different level of gameplay where things are harder but more interesting. So it balances it that way. It is definitely more interesting than vanilla. Hands down. I will not argue that at all. But it's harder. It's a lot harder. The Flora and Fauna, as you can, see, they're slimy trees. They give food. Well, why doesn't it tell me what it gives? Well, I know that it gives food. Will you do this? Okay, then he'll do that. And it makes slime, which you can then turn into simple meals. But they don't grow very fast. You can't plant them to you can't use them as a renewable resource that way. And I forgot about this. Every zone has a different set of plants that you can grow. Or maybe not. Maybe that's a different mod. I assume it has to be. I should have done the planting mod with this video, but I didn't. So we'll just move on. So yeah, that's this biome. I really liked it. It's super cool having green walls, like you can smooth. Ta-da! I wish it was darker. As dark as this is, I imagined doing this and having this beautiful forest green palace under a mountain that I had created. And then the first time that they actually smoothed the wall, it was that. And I was like, are you serious? Let's see. Let me show you this one. See if that really illustrates the point. No, because it's still basically the same color. And it's fine. I get it. But at the same time, I was really led to believe that the walls would be this beautiful green color when smoothed. And it wasn't. And I was disappointed a little bit because this is like my favorite color right here. This dark green, this foresty, regally green. And then it turned into this like emerald color, which isn't terrible. It's not like I don't hate this color. It's just not the color I expected it to be. And you do any of the other stones, they're the color you expect them to be. And this one was just a very big contrast from what it appears rough versus smooth. I don't know. Maybe I'm just silly. We'll move on. So that's the number one thing to remember about this area is there is no food anywhere to be found here. None. And if you think that's bad, there are no plantable areas. So, don't start here because you will die. You will. I mean, you have to come here with the ability to create hydroponics. You know, if you can do that. Some power thing and a sun lamp. At the very least. Like, that is the least for you to survive in this area. Where's... I don't even know if solar power would cut it. There's a few geothermal areas, so, you know, you can still have some of the benefits of a normal area. But if you do wood, you're fucked. Because there's no wood. These trees do not... There's no way. Half tree, half mechanoid abomination. I don't know what it... Let's harvest it and find out what it gives. Oh, it does. So there is wood. So you're not completely screwed, but... I mean, I still wouldn't... Soil on cracked metal. Can you? No, you can't put a growing zone there, but I guess trees can randomly appear there. I don't know. I mean, do this one at your own risk. Again, I don't know what Alpha Animals has in store for this because this is another alpha biomes area. But this one's meant to be, it says it on the map, it's meant to be difficult. Animals rarely go there. You don't have any growing areas. It's meant to be up there. I assume the alpha animals adds in an extra layer of difficulty that I am not aware of. Savannah. This is an advanced biome. And from what you can tell, it probably looks very vanilla. The fertility is that of a normal plainsy area, which is what you would expect. And that's, you know, that's fine. What is special about the savanna is the terrain affordance. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong biome. I really thought the savanna was it, where it had a lot of interspersed unbuildable and buildable stuff. Well, I guess there's nothing really special about this biome. It just has some new trees. A baobab tree. And a slightly different look to it. Yep. Yes, this was what I was thinking of. I thought that this was a savanna. It was not. So, new trees, different kinds of trees, willow, cypress, maple, all cool. And check this out. The buildability. No, this isn't what I was thinking of either, but it has the same problem. A very similar problem. The buildability. Buildability. It's hard to get a lot of buildings in straight lines around here. It doesn't say what these little areas mean, but this is where you can only build light structures and no heavy. So, for instance, you can build a wooden wall, but you can't build a granite wall. See? And that makes this area a more difficult place to build in because you can't build proper defenses made out of stone. At least not easily. It'd be really difficult to try to defend, right in through here. You'd have to build wood at best, maybe three wide, but even then they can still burn. Because 3 wide is more difficult to get through, and the health of it is 195, so you multiply that 3 times, it's just under 600, and the granite, which is the strongest, is 500. So, you know, it makes it a more comparable sort of thing. You could probably just double it up and it'd still be pretty comparable. But it would still catch on fire and burn down. So, not nearly as effective as a granite wall would be. Other than that, like I said, advanced biomes, they're very vanilla-ish. They are just another skin to the experience, for the most part. It is time for the Galatras Graveyard. I've never actually been to the Galatras Graveyard, so this will be a first for me. Here we are, and this is an Alpha Biomes biome. It is obviously meant to have Galatras, which are part of the Alpha Animals mod. You can tell that because it says, don't mess with the Galatras unless you are very prepared. And there are no Galatras on this map. I mean, you would see them. These things, these are their bones. So they're big. I've seen pictures of them. They're huge. You would see them if they were on this map. And they're not, because they're part of the Alpha Animals mod. So I don't think that this biome probably isn't very interesting if you don't have the Animals mod installed. It also has a rough, you know, buildability thing, because there's, what is this, sand? Fine sand, even. And very few rich soils, which I think that's... I would disagree. In a graveyard, you'd have very rich soil because of all the decomposition. But I'm not the mod maker, so whatever. That seems to be the majority of the... Oh, there's mudstone. That's right, there's mudstone. And you can smooth the surface just like any other. There's these funky trees, dead bower trees. Tangle tea. I've never really experienced any of this stuff, so I don't know what it does. Spine-colored leaves, coated leaves. Ancient bone. Rim of Madness, which I think is a Cthulhu reference. Oh, you can just deconstruct those. So if you have the Rim of Madness mod, these are more relevant, I suppose. Yeah, but I don't have any of the things that make this biome as interesting as it can be. Did we do the poison? I don't think we did the poison forest. We'll go to the poison forest. Okay, this is the poison forest. Now you can tell that it is not at all like the other poisony forest with all the mushrooms and stuff, because there are no mushrooms. There are just regular trees that are slightly colored differently and other stuff that's slightly colored differently. But it does have this neat weather feature where sometimes it is sporing, like rain, but spores. And if you are outside, you will, your people... Okay, I guess it doesn't do it unless it says poison. But it eventually, sometimes it will, and the deer are colored different too, which is kind of cool. And they're resistant to the poison. I don't know if all animals are resistant to the toxicity of the area, but I know that the ones that are colored different are definitely resistant. Where's my thingamajig? Weather, change weather. Oh, right. In the volcano thing, there's volcanic ash and volcanic ash with rain. It makes them have a hard time breathing, and so it's a mood debuff. Where is the... I guess these are for the Forsaken Crags, which I haven't gone to yet. I don't see it. I guess it's more of an event than weather. Anyway, it does a toxic thing, and it's kind of like toxic fallout, but it's toxic spores. And you just have to build roofs, and that takes care of it. This is the one I was thinking of. Okay, I thought this was Savannah. Oh my god, I'm so silly. Okay, so this is an added difficulty to the map. Because you can really see how difficult it would be to make even a wooden solid structure. Oh no. No, you wouldn't. Anything but a wooden solid structure. So it's not impossible to defend your territory. But you'd build that and then you'd be like, oh, okay, so I gotta build around it and I gotta build around this. And it just makes it really janky. Like, you know, normal, regular life would be. Straight angles are hard in reality. And this map makes it makes you very aware of how difficult building has to be in real life. Other than that, because it's an advanced biomes map, it's basically just vanilla. Just with a few a few extra flavors on top of it. This is a really good map. This is one of my favorites of the advanced biomes because it just adds more flavor to the vanilla experience without making it alpha biome, you know? I feel like alpha biomes makes it a different level, while this map keeps it on a vanilla level but still has more interesting elements to it. That's my opinion. I could, you could believe differently, and that's totally fine. All right, I've never been to this map either. It looks terrifying. So I see that there's some webbed marshy soil. I assume that the spidery feralisk creatures would be all over this area. Probably every fucking where. You'd probably have to build a sanctuary to stay away from them, from what I've heard. There's some deep jungle trees, which I guess give regular wood, but I don't know. I don't know what any of this stuff does. I'm sure some of it's food, some of it's dangerous stuff. And I assume, again, being an alpha biome, this requires alpha animals to get the full effect because there are no feralisks on the map, as you can see from there being no spiders anywhere. It's got a sort of normal-ish terrain affordance and a fairly normal richness, fertility. So, as you know, without the animals mod, it's kind of nerfed down to the advanced biomes level. So again, adding a level of interest by changing the look of it without actually changing much of the difficulty. You add in the animals mod and like I've been saying through this whole fucking video, it definitely would add a whole new level of difficulty to the experience. Now this one is a lot like the volcanic biome. As you can see, it's very volcano-y. I can't speak anymore. The lava is different. This is probably the one I was thinking of. Let's see. Can I move there? Nope. But I can move on top of this shit. And this shit is just as bad. It's solidifying lava. It's still technically lava. It's just barely solidifying. And we're going to do this. But I'm going to heal her because I'm God. Because I just don't want to make him die. And see, now she's on fire. She's on fire. And it's going to burn her. Get off. Get off. Oh, that's right. She can't get off of it. So, and that's the thing. Why are they allowed to walk into this area if they can't walk out? And you can build wood all up on this. But I can't take her off of it, can I? Because she's fucking drowning. So you can build over it. And that's great. How do I god this out of here? How do I guess I'm just going to have to leave it and teleport them all. And that's fine. So I can't move anymore. But you can build on top of it with regular wood. And that's fine. It doesn't sink. It doesn't catch on fire. But your people can get stuck in there. They can walk onto it, get stuck in there, and never be able to move again. So then you just have to reload. Because, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. You can't have a person go help. Or nothing. There's these really cool fire vine trees that give wood. They're just regular trees, though. But my favorite part is the obsidian. And I don't understand why they decided this specific biome needed to have a very different look to the rocks. It's a little disconcerting the way it disappears, because you can mine it, you can come here. I mine that, but down here went away. And I mine this. What part of it went away? It's hard to tell where the thing is centered. This seed, it's down here and all around here, and I mine that. It was just really that one square. It's a little confusing, and I'm not sure that I enjoy it, but it is funny. It also makes it a little difficult to figure out how to make a building out of it, but that's fine. You deal with what you get. Tinkle grass, I don't know what that does. But yeah, the biggest draw to this realm is the difficulty added by this solidifying lava, which again you can work around. I showed you can build just regular wooden floor. I don't think you can build sandstone. Oh no, you can. It apparently will support anything at all. Anything you've got, it'll build it, but you can't walk over it or you'll die. Which I don't know. I'm sure that was intentional. This is another one I have never been to, but I know that from what it says on the world thingy, luminosity doesn't reach high enough levels to grow anything. So you'll have to use the flora as natural sun lamps, or just regular sun lamps. You can do that too. So these let off light, and you have to be careful, because if you put your growing area too close to them, like if you put it right here, I know that the mechanics of growing will have you chop these down. So you have to shrink the zone. You have to build it. You have to put your zones at least one space away, just to be extra super careful to not put out your growing light. Brilliant. That is a brilliant vanilla-ish mechanic that Alpha Biomes put into this biome. I don't know what the animals add to the complexity of the map, but I do know that this is an interesting biome that I might use for the next iteration of the Let's Play, because I've never experienced what it's like to be on this map, and it seems like a level of difficulty that isn't terrible. You done burning? You were burned, but I think you'll heal. You'll be fine. Terrain affordance is totally fine, and there are no rich areas, but there's a lot of 100%, which with some mods you can turn into a rich area. Cragstone. This is just like the obsidian. Again, with the weirdness, you know, let's mine that. That took more than just that square. Really weird to me, but it's an interesting little extra flavor. And here we are at the Wasteland. And you can see, because I left the fertility overlay, it's actually quite fertile in some areas. Like, it's got 100% fertility. There's no rich soils. That's actually just nuclear waste. There's no rich soils to be had. There's, you know, a fair amount of 70%. But it's got a decent amount of 100% fertility in the Wasteland, which is kind of weird. But, you know, there it is. It's totally livable. Because you can just... huge areas. But you can't... I think there's a greater chance of toxic fallout happening in these areas. Maybe the volcanic ash or something. There's very little growth in the area. There's hardly any trees. The terrain affordance is fine. This one, the Wasteland, is another, I think it's the last alpha or advanced biome. And it's pretty vanilla. It's just, you know, it's got an added difficulty with the lack of plant life. But totally doable because you can just make trees. It takes time for the trees to grow. You're absolutely right. But in the meantime, you know, you can find a way with the scarce trees that you've got. You can try to build, you know, stuff. It's kind of like a desert. It's a desert with more growing area, I would say. So that's that. I think that's all of the biomes, at least that I know of. There might be more, and I'm really sorry if I came across one and thought it was vanilla and it wasn't, or if I just didn't have it on this map, because sometimes they don't generate all of the possibilities. You have to kind of mess with the like rainfall levels or water levels or whatever to really get all of them sometimes. So I'm sorry if there were some that were supposed to be, you know, in either alpha or advanced and I just didn't get to it. But you can see they definitely add a multitude of different biomes that you can choose from to make the experience a little bit more flavored. And how this works into a storytelling aspect, if you are using this game in any way to generate a story that you want to write about, you know, you've already got the character building from the last video, and now you have world building. You can essentially just be like, okay, well, I want them to live in, you know, a wasteland kind of area. You can actually generate your whole planet. Back in the new game creation, you can try to generate a whole planet that has just wasteland. In fact, let's go ahead and do that real quick. So here we are. We have these things. You can make, you know, sparse population, low temperature, low rainfall. See what that does. And based on your seed and those different elements, you could probably create an entire world that is a after nuclear. Yeah, see here, there's so much wasteland and desert. And there's this little bitty area of temperate forest, a little bit of volcanic area. Hardly anything else. It kind of took most... Okay, there's tar pits. I forgot all about the tar pits. I've never been to that one. That's one of the ones you have to like really mess with the settings to find. So now that we've found it, let's go ahead and find it again. There it is, tar pits. Let's go ahead and check that out real quick. But before I do, that's the kind of thing you can do. You can just do world building and change the settings, and now, you know, you can pretend this is the area, this is the world after nuclear fallout has happened. And these are the areas you have to choose from. You have very little, I mean, that doesn't seem like a sparse population, but again, you can use the, it explained in the first video of RimWorld mods, you can change the factions. You can take all the factions out. You can make it a world of just pirates. And you can make the pirates have, you know, very few locations and make a Mad Max kind of situation. You can do whatever you want and build the world the way you want it. Make the characters you want using Prepare Carefully or Character Editor, and generate exactly what world you want to do and watch what they do. It's amazing. And now here's the tar pits. It's the very last one I'm going to do for this video. There might be more. I'm not going to do them. So there's a tar pit here, and there's something you can do to like pump the tar out. I know. There's something, I know that there's something that you can do with these tar pits, because it's in here in the alpha biomes. Here we go. You can do tar trap. Where's the thing that propane heater? I don't know. I know that the tar can be used as like a building material and or an energy source. Here it is, tar pump. I don't care that I don't have enough stored. I'm in God mode. Why can't I just build it? That's weird. God mode, I guess, doesn't apply to some alpha biome stuff. Well, whatever. The tar pump pumps up the tar so you can use it to make asphalt and tarmac roads, and I use I don't know what alkanite's for or where you get it. I have no idea. No idea. Never even heard of that. That is a new one. Okay, alkanite. Where do you get alkanite? No idea. Alien Compliance Center. Ocular gas spewer. So there's a lot of things that you can research. Crystalline matrix. Stuff of alpha biomes is really weird, and they can do a lot of weird things, and the tar pits, I guess that's just really the beginning of the weirdness that you can do with alpha biomes. They have definitely made their own sort of flavor of RimWorld, and yeah, see, this is a new kind of fruit. And if you are trying to do a post-apocalyptic sort of world, you can say, well, this was a nuclearly changed area that evolved into these, you know, these weird new fruits, new trees, new plants that have new properties. What is Cordax resin? I don't know. But it, you know, it can very easily be transformed into its own sort of story. Sugar fame wort makes sugar fame wort, because of course it does. It makes it into a condiment. Yeah. So I definitely recommend trying out one or both of those just to add a little additional flavor to your experience. And if you're trying to write a story, these mods are enormously helpful at making brand new worlds. I mean, if you want to go the other direction, you can make a hugely rich world that is filled with a myopic jungle and feralisk jungles. Myopic forest, not jungle. Whatever it is. And you can make these largely alien worlds with richness and beauty and danger and then kind of just try to walk these people through it and creating a unique story out of the experience, just adding a little bit of additional flavor with these biomes. Anyway, that's the video. Video 3, I'm going to go into the animals because I added a lot of vanilla animals to my experience. Despite the fact that alpha animals just ended up being too much for me to deal with, there are other animals that are a lot less extreme and severe. And I really enjoyed having a more realistic, prolific animal experience. So I hope you join me for video 3 and go through those animal experiences. If not, then you can just wait until the videos come out where I'm actually playing through these weird areas with the extra animals and all that other stuff that we'll go through in these through these RimWorld mod videos. That's it for today, and I will see you guys again when you drift into the next video.